You are listening to In Response, a legacy podcast. A show where three handsome guys talk about their favorite Magic the Gathering format, Legacy.
I'm Peter Plank, the artificer. I've got everything at hand in my Goblin Welders toolbox.
I'm Daniel, the scientist. I ponder precisely about the next move that decides the fate of my opponents.
I'm Philipp Klein, the rogue. I use the graveyard to fuel opponents with agony.
And now, lean back and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 72, the return of the Nought of...
In response,
A legacy podcast.
I'm Philipp Klein.
I am Daniel.
And I'm Peter Plank.
And we're talking about Legacy.
Most of the time.
So at first we have to make a little bit of an advertisement here because we are hosting the next Austrian Legacy Masters and we have prepared some really nice poster here. It's the Austrian Legacy Masters. It takes place at the 19th of July to the 21st of July, and it's 3 days. I can give you this.
Of course, yeah.
And it's 3 days of Magic. We start with Friday Night Magic on Friday, then we have the Austrian Legacy Masters on Saturday, and where we have an European Legacy Masters slot as a prize support, and also on Sunday we play out the next European Legacy Masters slot at the Austrian Legacy League Season's End tournament. So join us. We put the link in the show notes for registration and for every information.
We also have, of course, a Facebook page where you can all the information on the event, and you can also, of course, see us live as we will be live streaming the whole weekend. Full Magic, full Legacy, 3 events, just like last year.
3 days live stream. Oh my God, that's insane.
And we hope that many people of Europe will be traveling to us to gather those nice slots for the Eon. So, yes.
Thank you very much. So, and next we have to thank also our Patreons, Matt Duncan, Christian Neutz, and Moritz Eichmeier. Thank you very much for your support. If you want to join this elite ranks of supporters, go to patreon.com/response_legacy. And now we hop into the real talk of our episode, and that's basically meta talk.
And by the way, Metal Talk, do you know my favorite stat?
Tell me.
It's the force count. We are at 58%.
58% force of will?
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. When was it that high the last time? I think it was Raga one time.
Maybe Raga one time. Maybe Death Red Shadow.
Or Dreaded Arcanist.
I would guess Miracles time.
Okay, that's really long ago.
Yes.
But it was by far one of my most favorite metas.
I think this is perfectly showing that Legacy has some cards that are just sacred, because the community would just go mad immediately if Wizards would ban anything that is, as much played as, for example, this Force of Will card.
The pillars of the format.
Yes.
But I think Force of Will is the glue that holds the format together.
Yeah, this is the argument of a lot of people, but I guess if it comes down to Wizard, if it was a new format introduced now, the card would be banned.
The card would probably be banned, and also the meta would be insane. It would be just combo after combo after combo, and just so extremely busted shit that just keeps kept in check by force of will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think you couldn't play anything that assembles basically any form of a mid-range plan.
No, nothing is sacred anymore. Just turn 1 kills all the time.
I think when having this in mind, we know that Scaminator is one of those decks that are played quite heavily in the Legacy metagame at the moment. But it seems that the Legacy metagame is shifting. It turns its wheels.
As always.
Exactly. And a new version that is an old strategy in a new kind of shell has been having a resurgence actually. And it's, as the title of the episode suggests, it's Stiflenought.
Yeah. That's basically a tempo deck where you play a Phyrexian Dreadnought. It's a 12/12 for 1 mana. It's an artifact creature. It has trample, and when it comes into play, it has a triggered ability where you have to sacrifice creatures with
Total
combinated power of 12 or more, or you have to sacrifice the Phyrexian Dreadnought.
Exactly.
And with this, you can simply play Stifle. That's why it's called Stiflenought. You can stifle the trigger, and you keep your 12/12 indefinitely. Or you can dress down beforehand, so the 12/12 loses all its abilities and also loses its trigger and stays on the battlefield indefinitely. There are some kinds you can phase it out also, then it also stays.
Vision Charm basically was the thing back in the days. You also had like Trick Bind is another way. It's nowadays it's I think Slip It Out the Back, which phases it out and gives it a +1/+1 counter. But one of the cool things with the new list is a Thrall.
Exactly. This is the kind of new addition that makes this deck work, kind of. I think if it wasn't because of Thrall, it would be very less powerful, I would say.
Definitely. The Thrall is for 1 and a white. It's a 1/2 with flash, flying, artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. So, I mean, these are pretty pumped stats, actually.
Top up on a stick.
Insane, yeah.
And with flash, I think this is quite important because previously there has been this 2-mana creature that has the same ability.
Hushbringer.
Hushbringer, exactly. But it doesn't have flash.
It's just flying in lifelink. Yeah.
But exchange lifelink with flash and it's much better.
Suddenly it's good. You can play turn 2, end of turn, your Doorkeeper file, and next turn play 2 Dreadnoughts.
Exactly. It feels like twin, right? End of turn, Deceiver Exarch, and then...
Oh yeah, it certainly feels like...
This is like a twin situation that we have here.
Oh, for sure. And also Thrall is... these decks are mostly played in kind of a Bant shell. So they played with green. And also a turn 3 Uro that stays on the battlefield is really nothing to scoff at. 6/6 that gains you life whenever you attack and draws your card and lets you put the land on the battlefield is really good against Esper's against blue-black scam. They simply aren't really able to raise either of them, either the Phyrexian Dreadnought or a fast Uro.
Yeah, it's a really strong resurgence of the deck. We had like the Dreadnought decks coming up from time to time again because it's like an old fan favorite. But this specific deck with such a strong hate piece as a main core engine is like really strong. It's basically if your opponent wants to grief you, I mean, he can still evoke the grief and he has now 3/2 for like no mana, but he did not get to discard a card. If they reanimate like an Atraxa and stuff like that, it doesn't trigger. If they reanimate an Archon, you still have time to deploy your remove spell because the trigger doesn't go onto the stack. So it's like, a really strong.
It is also individually, not in the Stiflenought list, particularly a quite strong card that sees now plays in control decks in the sideboard, for example, because it's very impacting the format. There's a lot of ETB triggers can get prevented with this card. And
also it's pretty great against Muxes. Goblins
exactly.
is also a deck that runs a Rampart, especially on Modo. And the Goblins relies almost exclusively on his entering the battlefield triggers. And this card single-handedly crushes the deck.
Yeah, exactly. This is, I think, one of the many reasons why this strategy at the moment is quite strong, combined with the fact that Swords to Plowshares is quite on the low end side of in numbers at the moment. But because of Stiflenought, I would say we feel that the Legacy Magic game definitely shifts into more swords in the future. We kind of see the signs at the moment because Stiflenought itself at least plays Swords to Plowshares as well. So it's a good against the normal version of Scam. But this will definitely spark an answer for all the other decks.
For sure. I mean, the question arises here, how will Stiflenought lists adapt to these kind of changes in the meta, to the meta being more white, playing more swords? How can Stiflenought adapt? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need the protection cards for it. I mean, it's of course like Daze and Fossifil, but the one key thing with Stiflenought back in the day was like Vision Charm is a protection spell. Because it basically
when you
reads,
phase out the
you
creature,
phase it out in response to the remove spell and everything was safe again. It's a gameplay pattern that we see in pre-modern a lot, but they don't really think that this is kind of the thing to do. The cool thing is, on the other hand, the late game engine that Uru can provide.
Yeah, especially for the green version. I mean, I brainstormed a little bit, and maybe the key here is playing a 2 of Legolas Quick Reflexes. Giving your first Dreadnought hexproof.
It could be the way to
second.
go when the meta is more interactive.
Yeah.
And you are turning then less into a value engine or synergistic value, but more into 1-2 punch kind of
more
deck.
to 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And also, I'm thinking maybe if that situation rises, maybe it's time then to stop playing green, going even a bit more tempo-y and splashing red. And
For what?
flings?
Fling.
I mean,
Do you want to talk about my past here? No, I mean, I don't really think Fling is currently a thing that can evolve into. Hydroblast and Blue Elemental Blast is on a really, really high side currently.
Hydroblast is...
If you're playing like a Jeskai kind of Jeskai version of the deck, you have like boats in here to finish their opponents off, because like 2 boats to the face together with a Dreadnought attack is usually enough. So I don't really think that moving to red is like a huge thing currently.
For sure, but you also could play for Firlingus.
yeah. I think right now, of course, we don't know, because at the moment we are not yet in this state.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
just, of course, theory talk. Stiflenought is Bant at the moment, the most successful version. What I think will be interesting is now, as we've seen the meta game shifts, because blue-black Scam is targeted quite a bit with this deck. They also adapt now white in their deck and turn into an Esper Scam kind of deck at the moment. And this is, of course, the counter to that, also to the mirror, because you now have your own source of plowshares that deal with any threats. And I think this is then the question: how strong is the Bant Stiflenought in general in the Legacy metagame when this happens?
With Esper Scam, we have like a lot of key cards now coming in for the deck. We have the 4 Swords of Plowshares most of the time in the sideboard, or even to some extent in the main deck. You have Serenities, but one huge thing that is really good against 1-drops actually is like pest control.
We talked about this in the last episode, about pest control.
Yeah.
And it clears like your Dreadnoughts off. I mean, you don't really have like the care to taking it care of like the Thrall and the Uro, but still you can cycle it. It's just a good card.
Without the Dreadnought, Scam is fine.
Yeah.
To be honest, you can handle an Uru. You can just outclass it with your bigger threats, and eventually Uru is just too slow. But a big Dreadnought, when we also have to face the Stifles, the Dazes, the Wastelands, and the Forces, you have a problem, because Scam doesn't play removal or good removal usually, and with white being in the mix, it's now a different story.
Oh, for sure, but it's just in the sideboard, am I right?
Yes, at the moment, yes. Pest control is something that is thought of. They could be in the main deck, which is a problem probably for Stiflenought.
For sure, yeah.
If it ends up in the main deck. But right now, the versions that we see is Swords, and Serenity is in the sideboard. Yeah.
Speaking of scam, because as you know, I'm the rogue and I'm always thinking about different ideas and different cards to put into a deck. Scam is already playing 4 Enemy Dead and 4 Entomb.
Yes.
Alongside 4 Orcish Bowmasters, or 3 to 4 Orcish Bowmasters.
Yes.
Why doesn't this deck simply adopt the one-off World Gorger Dragon?
World Gorger Dragon, just for the combo itself.
It just, if you have an Orcish Bowmaster and you reanimate a World Gorger Dragon, it's game over for your opponent. Because
With
it's just pinging
enemy
dead.
dead,
But if you don't have a Bowmaster?
you can.
You can simply reanimate an Atraxa or a Sauron or whatever, You don't have to. It's just the one-off that instantly wins you the game.
Yes. Here, when talking about this kind of combos, I have an opinion on that.
Yeah, tell me.
So you mean you're looking for an opportunity when you have a Bowmasters on the battlefield and you get to pull off the Entomb plus Reanimate combo an additional time, which is in this case the World Gorger Dragon.
Animate Dead.
Animate Dead.
Why an additional time?
Yeah, in addition to the already existing Bowmaster as a threat being on the battlefield.
Probably, yeah.
So you are already ahead, you have a Bowmasters, and your Entomb plus Enemy Dead resolves. So if I get an Atraxa and draw 4 more cards, for me, this is already game over. This is also you're dead kind of thing. So it's not played out yet. You know what I mean?
But
this is like a dead situation where you're overwhelming your opponent so hard that they can, in the most cases, just scoop.
In the most cases, that's the thing.
I mean, there's of course, it's not 100%. It's I know what you mean. It's like you kill it, but I feel this is like a win more kind of situation. This is what I wanted to say.
If they have a removal spell, you are most likely better off like getting the Archon, the Atraxa, the Sauron. In some niche cases, it could be the sweet or even cool thing to do.
It's certainly the coolest thing that you can do, actually. I mean,
but does it do something when you don't have the Bowmasters?
Yeah, because if you are losing, you can animate that your
the World
Gorger Dragon,
and
force a draw and start a new game.
Only if you have not a single other target in your graveyard.
Then
against
Leyline or something like that,
Or is it not?
Against Leyline it
work,
doesn't. So, because if you are able to prevent a loop from continuing, you have to prevent it.
Okay.
Okay. So is it like after certain times of iterations you have to stop?
To some extent, you can't say now it's a draw because I can't do anything because you can't do something else.
You could do something else. Okay,
But if they basically nuked your graveyard with an Isle Spell Bomb, they have 7 artifact tokens out there, running Rampage, then the draw can be good.
But you could also argue that you can just entomb for the World Gorger Dragon, animate that, make the loop, make infinite mana, then reanimate something else, a troll or something, and cast your whole hand. Isn't that good, actually?
You have
only if you have a full hand. Then, if you don't have it, you of course cannot use the mana. In that sense,
I think it's at least something to think of.
You could do that. I mean, I personally think it's like. It feels like win more, but of course it feels awesome when you pull it off.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, of course, just for the style, it's for sure a winner there, absolutely.
And it's really good if you have an Archon out, because then you win the game too.
Then it's even more win more than with Orcish Bowmasters.
That is true.
But yeah, I mean, it seems something that you can try, but usually I think you want to entomb something like an Echo of Eons.
For sure, it's just that that's probably the best World Gorger Dragon deck that could ever exist. It doesn't play World Gorger Dragon. That's the thing.
No, like you said, I think with Entomb you can actually pair a better card at the moment, besides Scam, and this is of course Echo of Eons. Why?
I mean, it's basically like a time twister.
Yeah,
And it's Graveyard Hate all in one.
exactly. There's the Storm version that is some kind of an Echo Storm, or it's a Saga Storm kind of version that plays normal Besiege, the Mirror, Urza Saga, Dark Rituals, all the mana rocks and rituals, and then it has Entomb plus Echo of Aeons also in the deck. Both are 4 of.
And I don't know if you have said it, Bowmasters.
And it has Bowmasters.
And it
that's
has
true.
Bowmasters.
Yes.
So you can pull the next insane combo.
Yes.
You can Entomb the
Well,
Echo-
gotcha track.
The Walker Dragon, yeah, for sure. No. You can Entomb the Echo of Aeons,
Yeah.
flash in a Bowmaster, and next one flashback. Have a huge
Trigger.
origami token, ping your opponent to death. Sounds great.
It's actually pretty good because you get to deal a couple of damage, even if you get to pull it off, it's 7 damage that you deal to your opponent, or 8 with the normal trigger of Bowmasters as well. And then the normal way of this deck is to win with Tendrils. You don't have to storm that high anymore. You can just do this once and then finish it off. With
Or maybe with your full set of cards in hand, maybe do it twice.
or do it twice, yeah, I can never be there. Or do it with 2 Bowmasters.
or 2 Bowmasters. Yeah.
40 damage, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few versions already. I think it was Killer Bee. He played it with Leyline of Anticipation. So you basically could stack your Echo of Aeons from the graveyard on top of each other. If you have like multiple of those in a graveyard, so that you can play, in your opponent's turn and.
Okay. This is what
Everything has flash. That's Leyline of Anticipation,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay, so yeah.
So
Then
basically,
you flash in your Bowmaster.
Yeah.
with a Bowmaster,
Double
and then you
flash.
like let resolve like your 4 Echo of Aeons.
It feels like a nice deck, to be honest. Urza Saga, you have another plan B.
Yeah.
Bowmaster is very strong against control decks. You have also removal. Like, if you play against Thalia,
Yeah.
it's huge actually. You
Or
can just-
against Bowmaster.
Or against
Or against-
Bowmaster, yeah. Your Storm deck actually has a nice way to answer this kind of permanence in game 1.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a strong deck, actually.
I mean, if you're not playing TS, that's probably the best, the next best Storm deck that you could play.
At the moment, it's quite strong, especially tied to the fact that Echo acts as an Graveyard also. You can just remove any troll that has been cycled and is waiting to be reanimated, but
Yeah, and
Or
it's
an
also,
Alexa.
Atraxa, whatever.
it's also pretty much discard proof because they don't want to take your key engine to the graveyard because it's then better. So yeah, it's a really interesting deck. And one thing that we kind of have to mention here with Besiege the Mirror, it's like you can sacrifice enchantments, which is like a key point why it's so good with Saga. On the other hand, as I previously wanted to shit talk, is ley lines. Because like even if you have like a ley line that you can use, like the Leyline of Anticipation, or better off in the current metagame Leyline of the Void, you can sacrifice these ley lines to get the Stormbolt rolling.
Yep.
It's really good. And on the other hand, with before mentioned Leyline of the Void, like a one of Helm of Obedience can also be kind of good.
This Leyline plus Helm is in the sideboard of these decks usually. So after when you expect lots of Graveyard Hate, and if you're playing against decks that use the graveyard, you could just divert into this kind of plan and go for the Leyline Helm combo.
Yeah, Mono Black has gotten so many incredible tools in the last, I think, year or so. It's just, Mono Black is a great mid-range deck. It's a great Storm deck. It's basically the only thing that we still need would be a great control deck in Mono Black.
Mono Black, you mean? Okay.
We have that in Modern.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't follow Modern Meta, so I don't know.
You have like the Mono Black Cover Coffer stack.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a control deck.
I mean, it's
It plays
mid-range
Shield
control.
Red, it's a control deck.
It's control.
Yeah.
It goes late.
What I like is when I saw this Echo Storm is I think one big problem that the deck has is answering Chalice of the Void, because black doesn't have artifact removal actually. Well, not really good ones. And but you only have access to Feed the Swarm, which kills creatures and enchantments.
You need something like Gas
Yeah,
Throw.
there's actually one. It's the one that you actually can tutor with Saga. It's Search Note.
A Search Note, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's their answer. But I feel it's still quite challenging when you, for example, play against Mono Red Stompy. You also face Blood Moons, and then your Saga cannot get your Chalice answer. So I think this could be challenging, this matchup. For this matchup, I guess you have to just go all in, of course.
Or you just hope to dodge it.
Or hope to dodge it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also with the saga resolving up to the 3rd chapter, it's like you need a lot of time for that. And Stompy decks are, on the one hand, like the thing that deploys like a controlling piece on the first turn, or a hate piece, but on the other side, usually they have some threats.
Or Bombardiers.
Bombardiers, Broadside
Bombardiers.
Oh my god, this card is also so great.
Throwing chalices into faces.
Throwing Furies into faces after combat.
The evoked ones.
Yeah, the evoked ones. Cha! Then it's basically over.
Yeah.
I think these are the 3 decks that we really wanted to highlight this time. We actually don't know what Mono Horizons 3 will bring.
Yeah.
Because this will probably the meta shake up of not even of the year, but of the cycle, of the Modern Horizons cycle, basically.
I mean, for Modern Horizons 3, we kinda want to see the new Planeswalkers.
The 1 mana Planeswalker.
The Flipwalkers.
Grist is kind of 1 mana Planeswalkers. And also Ayani is a Planeswalker, am I right?
I haven't seen the white one, the Ayani one yet, but we have Sorin and I think it's Valzarek. The red one, I will buy 4 of those, but only for Modern Giftstorm. It's basically a new Electromancer that can semi-reliable flip and be really strong. But the one thing that stands out for Legacy currently is Tamio, because like 1 Brainstorm, it flips for free, no mana to be paid. And can't wait for
Mono Horizons 3.
No, for the next episode of us.
Save your money, stay tuned, and buy your cards for Modern Horizons.
Basically buy packs from Modern Horizons, unfortunately. Save all your money, don't buy any duels.
Buy singles, don't buy packs.
This set will be
crazy
expensive. Yeah, so I think we can wrap this episode up here. It was great to have you here. If you like what we are doing, consider following us on social media. It's @response_legacy, basically everywhere. You can find me on Twitter. It's @FinnekMTG, PHINEKMTG. Daniel, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me also on X. It is @FlyingDelver. And Peter, where we can find you?
You can find me on the platform previously known as Twitter. It's @UnicornLord, but the O in the Lord is a 0.
I will forever say Twitter.
In response, yeah.
This was In Response, a Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to support the show by following, leaving a review, or subscribe on patreon.com/response_legacy.